Andy Bryant. And the B-mods will bear down and get us started with our features. Jackson tries to get the jump on the youngster. KJ cruises off the top of turn number 2. We'll try to lead him around here on our opening lap. McCowan moves his 8 up to the top of the racetrack. So does Andy Bryant as he got shuffled back in the field. Splits Richards and Wes Briggs, and Bryant immediately to the top of the racetrack. J.C. Morton will go there as well. 3 across in a couple of different places coming off turn number 2. And Wesley Briggs now, Shane, gets shuffled all the way back to your B feature winner, Brayton Skaggs.
Yeah, he has set anchor, and Andy Bryant did a fantastic job to dive to the inside of Wesley Briggs as he was having trouble off of turn 4. Andy Bryant able to capitalize, and that will get him up into the top 10 easily as he will fall back in line in 7th. And Wesley Briggs has gone all the way to the tail back of the field.
Falls back with just 2 or 3 cars behind him here on the lead lap. Chris Jackson cruising out to a 1.1 second advantage over the driver from Urbana, Missouri, the 16-year-old Dylan McCowan. J.C. Morton and Andy Bryant rim riding around the racetrack. That will allow Morton to get a big run off of 4. Clears the 41. The 83. How many times have we seen this side-by-side battle between the JCs here tonight? I think we saw it in the heat race earlier as well. Newell has the bottom of the racetrack covered. Now the 41 slides up, but Andy Bryant able to avoid him as he is there right in front of Eric Turner.
Well, after Brian White had such a fantastic run in that Midwest mod in his heat race, got all the way up to 2nd after starting tailback in the field, just unable to hang with some of these guys that are running up front in this normal B-mod division. You've got 4 of the top 7 drivers in the USRA B-mod National Championship battle, all here in this race alone. Just shows you how talented a group of cars and drivers this is. J.C. Morton currently 3rd in the points, Chris Jackson 4th, Dylan McCowan 5th, and Jake Richards 7th. So you've got the top talent around the Midwest in this national points battle going at it right here at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Chris Jackson and Dylan McCowan starting to put cars a lap down now as they work their way on to lap number 8 of 20. Then Briggs gets sideways at 65 here, and Jackson slow rolls the restart, then puts the hammer down and will try to skirt away from McCowan and J.C. Newell. Andy Bryant rockets to the top of the racetrack where he is most comfortable, gets a good run off of turn number 2. Ian McCowan taking the same line through 3 and 4. John Sheets will go up there as well. McCowan gets a great run off the high side, pulls right back behind the 83 of J.C. Newell. Will give a little bit of that room back to him off of turn number 2. See if he jumps to the inside. Nope, he will stay around to the top of the track, along with the driver from Fort Scott, Kansas, Andy Bryant.
Undoubtedly the run of the year so far for J.C. Newell. He's sitting in 2nd right now. His best finish has been 4th twice. As this caution will come out, Hagen Stevenson in turn 4 goes to Destiny Morton, diploma from Drury. Saw that come across Facebook today.
See what Chris Jackson could do on the restart. McCowan trying to stay right there with the 65. He does. Starts to move up the racetrack now, with the 8 pulling out just a nose in front of the 83. Morton goes up to the high side. Bryant still pinned down at the bottom of the racetrack, and he will slide up in front of the 99T of Eric Turner. That's a battle for 5th. Luke Phillips on the move, splits it between Richards and Bryce Gottschall, and the caution lights come on once again as we've got some. Jackson will set the pace again as we are halfway home here in our Ozark Golf Cars USRA B-mods feature for the night. Four across on the exit of turn number 2 until Quentin Taylor thinks better of it and backs up as he tried to split Dayton Pursley and Luke Phillips. Now Gottschall and the 30 come together, then the 14T can't avoid Bryce Gottschall.
Just really roughed up, and major damage by Gottschall as he just gets right into the rear end of the number 30. Gottschall has wasted his car, and he has hit the number 30 hard enough to where he will have to come to a standstill over in turn 3.
Maybe that will change tonight for J.C. Newell. See if he can keep up with the 65 as we go back to green. It feels like it's been 10 minutes since I said we were halfway home in this one. Bryant always bad fast on the outside, and that's where he goes. Rolling up around the cushion, fires off of turn number 4. He will clear the 18, get a good run on the 83 as well as Bryant tries to bring the 28, barreling toward the front here in the second half of our A main. J.C. Morton and J.C. Newell digging side by side around the bottom of the racetrack, and Bryant clear of them both now, and that Luke Neiman Motorsports for sale sign starting to make its way up to the front. Morton rides in third. Newell started second and has been shuffled back to fourth now, is in danger of being caught by the 99T of Turner and Richards in the 7J. Jake Richards, Shane, a second place finisher his last time here.
Not a bad job on his first trip here to Lucas Oil Speedway this season. He's just really not had the speed tonight to be able to get back up into where he was last time here. He's got some heavy hitters up in front of him. I think J.C. Newell's car kind of gone away after the opening couple laps whenever he was running second and third with Dylan McCowan, as he has now dropped back to fifth. And Jake Richards now on his back bumper in the rearview mirror trying to get around him for a top 5.
We told you John Sheets had left the racetrack. He is back on now as the 8S tries to navigate his way around the F1 of Mitchell Franklin. Franklin sporting that red, white, and blue wrap like he did for Thursday Night Thunder back on July 2nd. Chris Jackson now trying to deal with lap traffic. He will whip around the 0-2. Tracy Killian behind the wheel of that car, normally numbered the 0K, the OK of Jeff McNew, but hasn't been for the last couple of weeks. Jackson now out to almost a second advantage on the field as J.C. Morton carves up the bottom of the track and continues to try and catch up with Andy Bryant. J.C. Newell falling back to fifth behind Eric Turner. Newell has been able to stay in front of the 7J. How about Luke Phillips? We talked about Luke getting that car all the way up in the top 10. Now he's vying for a top 5 as he currently sits 2 spots out in 7th.
Great job of working through the field, being very patient. Yes, there were a number of cars that went out due to attrition in front of him to aid in that, but he was extremely fast, and Peyton Phillips helps him set up that car with 1 to go. Have a tough time getting in the top 5 as Chris Jackson's checked out.
Jackson with a 1.5 second advantage over Andy Bryant. Comes upon lap traffic, Jim C., Wesley Briggs. But Jackson has plenty of time on his hand as he will roll off the top of turn number 4 and bring the 65 to victory lane for the 4th time here at Lucas Oil Speedway in 2020. Chris Jackson is your race winner
for the feature after all of the passing points that he had. And then the 12 of Justin Russell, a 3-time winner this year at another track. He'll try to pick up his first win, and he won't get off to a good start as he goes way high on the track over in turns 3 and 4 on the initial start. And he will give up two positions as Todd Shute will go to the inside. And then the 31 of Cole Henson will get around him as well for third. Caden Cornell, he's way up on the cushion trying to find the sticky stuff, get some grip, and get out in front of the field. Todd Shute will stay right with him as he works the low line, pulls up right beside him as they exit off of turn 2, and stay right with him, door handle to door handle over in turns 3 and 4.
Cornell getting a great run off that high line through 3 and 4. That slingshots him out in front of Shute again, but Shute finds the power off the bottom of turn number 2, and that allows him to pull up alongside as they enter 3 and 4.
Top 2 cars have a little bit of history. A couple years ago, they were running and had an incident over in turn 4 that took Caden Cornell out of an opportunity for a win. And this is a division, Corey, that we have seen a little bit of everything throughout the years. We've seen leaders break while they're out in front. Caden Cornell was one of those, as he had, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a drive shaft issue that took him out of a race. Dylan Hoover was out in front of a race, and he broke while leading. And now Caden Cornell starting to put some breathing room between he and Todd Shute. The only real action for position is back in third as Cole Henson goes to the inside. Johnny Fennewald, a good run to the outside, but gets squeezed off of turn 4 as Cole Henson pushes him high on the track, and Johnny Fennewald will lose a lot of ground as he falls back 2 car lengths, but he makes it all back up as he exits off of turn 2 and gets a good run. He gets squeezed up again. Now he'll try to cross over and go to the inside of Cole Henson, completing lap number 6.
Caden Cornell enjoying a 1.3 second advantage over Iowa's Todd Shute. Cornell continuing to carve his way around the top of the racetrack here on this 3/8 of a mile semi-bank dirt oval, up and under, and it will put the 14 a lap down. So will Shute now as Shute pulls up alongside the 14, and your top 2 cars starting to get into lap traffic, and they are able to clear it cleanly. Here comes Fennewald now. A hard move to the bottom of the racetrack. He slides up in front of the Hammer, but Cole Henson, it's a drag race to the line. Henson just barely being in front of Fennewald, and Fennewald's going to fight right back by him on turn 2.
During our pre-race Facebook Live, Johnny Fennewald was talking about how the young drivers have come in and have done extremely well. I think Johnny Fennewald was getting a little bit tired of dealing with Cole Henson for a couple of laps. Henson had pinched him up high a couple of times, and Johnny Fennewald just decided he had enough. He drives it in way hard and deep as now a fight for the lead, and Todd Shute has gotten past Caden Cornell. He will grab the lead as he was starting to make up time lap after lap, just inching closer and closer to the 50. He will pull off the slide job midway through with 10 laps down, 15 to go. Again, an extra 5 laps in this Warsaw Auto Marine and RV ULMA late model. 1,000 to win goes to whoever hit the pay window first.
Talked to Caden Cornell's team in the pit, Shane, when you were doing the Facebook Live interview with Johnny Fennewald, and you don't hear from that crew very often. Hey, we went out to legit at the first of the month and brought home a top 10 finish, and we felt really good about it. And it was because they had been throwing so much at the car, trying to get it better, trying to get it faster, that there are nights where as a race team you can feel like you could run in the top 5 and you didn't have to do anything to the car.
And has dropped all the way back, and he will start outside at row 4. Slow start by Todd Shute. He will creep over into turn 4 and then finally press down on the loud pedal. Side by side for second. We pegged it, Corey, as Caden Cornell goes back to the high side, and Fennewald able to hang with him over in turns 1 and 2, but after they get off of that turn 2 exit, they head to the backstretch, and Cornell able to gap Johnny Fennewald, but Fennewald will come right back on him and pull up side by side as they cross underneath the flag stand.
Thought Dylan Hoover was going to have a hot start to that one, Shane, and then he gets shuffled back. The Hammer Cole Henson around him, along with Tucker Cox, who got his first win here at the Diamond of Dirt tracks earlier this year.
So it's a fight for second right now with Cornell out in front of Johnny Fennewald. Question for Todd Shute, is he going to be able to gap any way at all over the 50, as he has now gotten out to a 0.7 second advantage. Both those 2 cars running the high line. Johnny Fennewald the first break formation as he will go down and run the low line, trying to find a little bit of tack down there on the very bottom of the track as well. Schute's advantage grows another 0.2 of a second that last time around.
Cornell and Fennewald split the top and the bottom of the racetrack. Cornell gets a great run off of turn number 4, but still trying to gain ground on the driver from Des Moines, Iowa. 1.1 seconds behind Todd Shute is the driver from Willard. Cornell and Shute running similar lines. The only 2 cars in the top 5 that are trying their hand at the bottom of the racetrack is Fennewald and Tucker Cox.
First car to go a lap down in this one was the 14 of Jerry Croney. He will be the next to go a lap down again, as they are about a lap and a half or 2 laps away from catching up. And now Crowley will just go to the high side and give way to the lead lap cars. He's done a really good job of getting out of the way. He just holds his line and lets the lead lap cars find a way to get around him.
Well, we talked about it for Jerry. It was a bucket list wish to come and race here at Lucas Oil Speedway. But on top of that, when you're that old school and you've got a hand-painted car, do you maybe give people a little bit more room? Because that's just not another fast wrap you slap on there.
Nope, he doesn't want to get it scratched in any way.
I wouldn't.
completing lap 25 more times around as Todd Shute continues to build that lead. It's over 2 seconds now. About the only thing that could spoil his day or rain on his parade would be another caution flag coming out or something breaking on that number 5. And right now, it doesn't look like either of those are going to happen as this field is completely stretched out. The only real action now is coming out of turn 4 as Ferris looks to the inside, Hoover to the outside of the lap car of Curley. They will both get around them, and now the caution does come out. It is the 12 laps, but now with the caution light turned off and the green flag in hand, Caden trying to get a little bit of a head start, looking to the outside of Todd Shute. Shute keeps it slow, and that might cost Caden Cornell as he gives way to Johnny Fennewald, looking to the inside. Hammer now working to the inside of Johnny Fennewald. Fennewald goes right back down to the low side and takes that position away. Goes up on the track, makes contact with Cornell. Cornell brushes the wall. Some sheet metal comes off and is stopped there on the front stretch. Lots of damage and sheet metal torn up on the 50 machine. Fly out to a big lead. Now Todd Shute again slow as he will bring him off of turn 4, but it will be a conga line off of turn 4 as they get lined out nose to tail. Cornell up on the top shelf. A good run off of turn 2. Now here comes the hammer again, and again Johnny Fennewald just dives down to the low part of the track. Todd Shute will get up into loose stuff. Fennewald will grab the lead. He'll take it away from Caden Cornell. Cornell dives way down low on the track, so Shute goes from the point to 3rd. Cornell was up to the lead. Now he's back to 4th, and somehow Johnny Fennewald, the Flash, was back in 3rd. He capitalizes, gets the lead, and now here comes Shute. Todd Shute back to the inside with 2 to go.
Todd Shute went up and over the cushion and is now trying to battle back to get that top spot back, but Johnny Fennewald is not a driver that it's easy to get around. He will have one more lap, Shane, to try and fend off Shute.
And we have seen Todd Shute pull off some kamikaze moves over in turns 3 and 4, trying to grab a win. Will he do it again? Up on the high side, gets a good run off of 2. He'll stay high, tries to find more grip up on the top. Johnny Fennewald slides up high on the track, and he will claim his 4th win of the season in a late model. Johnny Fennewald. Mackey not out as well, so the field will finally fire off at turn number 4, 20 times around for the pure stocks, as they are led by Leroy Morrison in the number 50, and a lot of action going on in the opening lap. 3, 4, 5 cars all get involved. One gets turned around. Keep the field over and see that orange cone. The orange tire, and they are 4 wide again and back over in the field about mid-pack. 1 car off the pace, and that is the 88 of Robin Showers. He might not make it back to the pits. Instead, he's going to take the left-hand turn, cut through the grass, and go into the infield. Another car high on the track over at 3 and 4. That's the 21 of Joey Chadwick. He will hit the outside retaining wall. 1 lap down, 19 to go, and Morrison has Headley in tow. Goes to the inside of the track and then off of turn 2 has a good 2-car lead advantage. As Headley tries to stay right with him. Christopher Sawyer, who was a hot shoe in his heat race, going from 8th to 1st. He has worked his way up to 3rd right now as a car spins over turns 3 and 4. Is Jerry Wheeler going to get his car fired back up? Pure Stocks will step down on the loud pedal again, and Morrison this time not able to shed the 2nd place running Headley as fast as he did the first couple of times, and Christopher Sawyer stays right up with him as well. Sawyer out of Buffalo, Missouri in the 12. As cars get all wadded up deeper in the field, they bounce off one another and keep going.
Shane, the 57D of Dalton Roberts started to spin, bumped into another car, that straightened him out, and we kept going.
Morrison leads the conga line off of turn 4, sees the orange flag, a spinner off of turn 4. That That is the 69 that keeps his foot in the pedal, and Zach Williams will get back out on the track, and we will stay green, at least for the time being. As now a battle up front is Headley looking to the inside of Morrison. Morrison, the lowest on the track so far, actually kicks up dry dirt over there in turns 3 and 4, leaves a rooster tail behind him. That is enough to get him back out in front of Headley, as Headley stays right with him, about a half a car length behind. And then Sawyer gives up a little bit of ground off of turn number 2, as the top 4 cars are all nose to tail now over in turns 3 and 4.
Man on the move has been DJ Barnes, that 5 DJ, starting to make his way around the racetrack a little bit faster each lap, vying for a top 5 spot right now. He hasn't had that much luck here in a couple of previous trips, but this is always a young man, Shane, that the other drivers, this is a teenage race car driver, and all the other pure stock drivers we talk to have nothing but glowing things to say, not only about the young man's talent, but how clean he races them. It doesn't matter what track they're at, whether it's here or anywhere else.
And respect goes a long way whenever you're talking about having older, wiser, veteran guys that are out there on the track with you. If you can get just a little bit of respect, and they give you that little bit of extra inch or two whenever you're making a pass or something along that line, let you back in line, let you correct your car instead of spinning you out. He is worked up into a top 6 right now. It's a 2-car breakaway with Leroy Morrison working the low side. Logan Headley out of Kansas City, Missouri, working the top shelf. And a good run by Headley. He'll actually pull up alongside. As Headley's been a couple years in a race car, runs up a Mocan tracks, a variety of tracks that he runs at. Doesn't call just 1 or 2 his home. Leroy Morrison finished 17th back here on June 20th. Those 2 cars still pulling away from the field, as it is a 4-car battle now for third, as Sawyer gave up ground to the 57. He gets back into the back end of Justin Roberts, rattles his cage a little bit, and while he does that, that allows DJ Barnes to get right in the middle of that 2-car battle, make it a 3-car battle. Gets around Sawyer up high on the track. The Porsche now starts to make some hay, as he gets up right in that mix as well. He is now running back in 7th and looking for more.
He pulls up alongside the 12 of Christopher Sawyer in that 30 that had problems earlier, involved in a caution. Trying to salvage a top 10 night, maybe a top 5 night, if he can get past the pair of 5s that are throwing up a roadblock in front of him. They're involving DJ Barnes and Mason Beck.
Kind of surprised how Christopher Sawyer has drifted back through the field. He was strong up there running for third, especially on how he ran his heat race earlier on, and now his car is starting to go away. He has let 4 cars get past him. Nobody really has anything for the top 2 running cars right now with Leroy Morrison and Logan Headley.
Headley with that medieval chassis, a Jerry Schmidt engine. Just going stride for stride with him right now. Shane pulls right up on the rear end of that 50, then tries his hand at a slightly higher line as they work their way toward 3 and 4. It was 0.3 of a second, the difference between these 2 cars a lap ago, 0.2 of a second on the last lap. It probably won't be a whole lot different than that. It's another 0.2 of a second separation between the 50 and the 23.
Well, Logan Morrison has not budged off of that low line. That's where he has found the speed for that number 50, and Logan Headley has tried to run that bottom line, just hasn't been able to get up on the back bumper. He's gone high, he's gone middle. He is the Sherlock Holmes of pure stock racing right now. He is in search of an answer, trying to find a way to get around the 50, and just isn't going to happen for him, as now I think that 23's car is starting to go away. He has worked so hard, as now a spinner off of turn 4. Single file for the restart, 15 down, 5 to go for the pure stocks. If you're going to have an opportunity to make a pass for the lead, that would have been it right there for Logan Headley on that opening lap, right when you're with the leader. Try to take that line away that he's running. Morrison will drift up high on turn 4. Will Headley be able to take advantage? He looks to the inside. but the door gets slammed shut right in front of him as Morrison goes right back out in front of him. Now here comes Headley. He will get a run off of turn 2. Takes that low line away, and a change for the lead. As getting out in front is Logan Headley, the 38-year-old, takes possession of lead on lap 17 after Morrison has led the entire first 16.
Morrison had been catfishing the entire night, Shane. Now he goes searching for something a little bit more. See what sort of a run he gets off of turn number 4. Instead, he finds himself 0.8 of a second behind Logan Headley, as Headley's trying to put a second between he and the next closest car. And there is a 4-car battle for spots 3 through 6 as the torch pulls up alongside DJ Barnes now as they come around to the white flag.
One more circuit for the Pure Stocks is now after getting around Morrison. No one has anything for Logan Headley. His lead gets bigger and bigger every single lap. Contact made over in turn 2, and that's DJ Barnes that gets into the back end of Trevor Wilson. Spins him out, but he is out of harm's way as the checkered flag will come out. It goes to Logan Headley. Morrison, who led the first 16, comes home in second.
With a trip to victory lane tonight. A stout field of modifieds will make their way off of a turn at number 4. Big Daddy will drive it hard to the green flag, and we will get going here on our 20-lap feature for the Pitts Homes USRA Modifieds. Powers and Burrow and Thompson will make it 3 across momentarily as they enter turn number 3. 3 across back deeper in the field with Domer and Evan Hubert and Skaggs. J.C. Morton gets into the back of Skaggs momentarily and then able to get control of the 12. Powers drifts back now as Thompson takes that spot away. Burrow up around the top of the racetrack, and Big Daddy trying to pull away from the field as Duvall's got a 0.4 of a second advantage. Over the 292, Burrow sliding back further off the exit of turn number 2.
Corey, I got one for you. I mentioned you had to go back to row 4 to find a feature winner already, and then row 6 to find the other one. Those are the only 2 cars on the track that have won a feature here this year.
I like those odds.
Everyone else has been here on one-off races. Robert Heidenreich not able to compete tonight, so
Robert's not having a bad night. He's right above us in a suite.
he rode a motorcycle here on a nice leisurely evening trip.
About 82, 83 when we got to the track. Not a bad night for a ride. So we talked about Joe Duvall in the 91, and if you look up at the pylon, we tried to get a receiver and a transmitter into the car, and he's still not listed number 1, but that is your race leader, the 91. Before you get back to Kyle Thompson in the 292, Mickey Burrow in 3rd. Robert Reed, Shane, starting to make some moves as the man from Mexico is up to 4th.
He's bumped up to 4th. Mid-Oz dropped back to 5th, and that's what I get for trying to pick a winner, as Dan Powers may be in jeopardy of falling out of the top 10 in no time. He has gone back through the field, just not finding the grip. You can see in the opening couple of laps, he's not able to get any bite on the bottom side of the track. He's now up on the top trying to find a way to get some momentum up around there, as this has become, again, a multi-groove track. Cars going down the bottom and going up on the top. And extremely racy here with a couple of features left.
Current top 5 with Duvall, Thompson, Burrow, Reed, and Mid-Off in the next 5. Mac Domer, Powers, Wolf, Phillips, Kim Rocket, Josh Lanterman. They're the 4A underneath the flag stand. Trying to get a run around the veteran driver from Buffalo, Tracy Wolf. Peyton Phillips to his inside. Shane, it's taken 8 laps, and it looks like Joe Duvall is going to have to start putting cars a lap down. The first on the hit list, Khalid Graham. Driver from Joplin gives Duvall the outside lane, and he will take it. Ball dips back to the inside and now turns his attention to Cody Kretschmar at 60. This field is stretched out all the way around the track. Duvall now digging it up around the bottom. The track will slide up in front of 60. And through Taggart, Dragon. will be next on the list for Duvall as he is more than halfway home here. Duvall's lead now just continues to grow. Thompson trying to make his way through lap traffic. Robbie Reed has picked up 2 more spots now. Your defending track champion. The current point leader here with the 75-point cushion. Reed has been to victory lane 3 times. Domer behind him. Finally got off the schneid, got his first ever win here at Lucas Oil Speedway a couple weeks ago. But it's Duvall who's looking to get to victory lane the first time here in 2020.
You got Reed coming off the turn 4 now, then Ryan Middaugh, and there's Mickey Burrow and Chase Domer running the same real estate. As Mickey Burrow to the inside, Chase Domer looking the outside.
Lee Graham gets a little loose coming off of 4. Robbie Reed will jump to the outside, see if he can put the 2+12 behind him. Duvall now just surrounded. He's trying to put a couple of veteran drivers down a lap. Jason Persley, the principal. Donnie Fellers and the Rondo Baptist 24D.
Tight squeeze there for Duvall.
Very much so. Duvall pins his tires back down to the bottom of the racetrack and gets a good run off of turn number 4. And continues to just put cars down a lap. Big Daddy driving it hard down the backstretch. J.C. Morton in that 12. The next one for Duvall to try and clear. Duvall, a different history. Started his racing career as a flat track motorcycle racer. You talked about the USRA point standings earlier, Shane. Joe Duvall's a top 20 driver in that, 16th in the national points, but he hasn't won a USRA sanctioned event this season. Coming up on the 0-3 of Chase Jones now. Drifts up the track. Off of turn number 4. Couple more trips here for Duvall as he's now come upon Tracy Wolf. Jones in a ton of traffic in front of your race leader, but he has got a ton of room between him and the number 5 of Robbie Reed. And just like that, Joe Duvall brings home a race win on a Saturday night. The checkered flag in the hands of Mike Striegel. Duvall rolling all the way around, and poor Robbie Reed halfway around the track.
Half a lap win for Joe Duvall. Anytime we've seen Derek Brown on the pole, he has been tough to knock off of it. Street stock swore to life with the green flag in the air. Stays right with Derek Brown on that opening turn. Able to stay in the accelerator a little bit more as they're in turns 3 and 4, but Derek Brown is able to pick up on it faster than On is. Leads by a car length as they stay 2 wide, practically at the exact same starting grid as they cross underneath the flag stand for the first time. Now they will start to get all spread out. They go back into more of a single line formation down on the bottom of the track. Brown out in front of Toby Ott, first row side-by-side action back and forth with Brian Brown to the inside, Tim Brown looking to the outside, and there's the big show Bob Barnett sitting back in 6th, waiting to see which line works faster.
Colton Borland trying to make his way from the back to the front as Colton started 9th and has picked up a spot, looking for more here as he drives alongside Johnny Coates. Nowhere to go around Bob Barnett right now as the racer from Republic has that preferred line with a pair of Browns in front of him. Brian Brown in the 69 and Tim Brown in the 111. But everybody's chasing the 3rd Brown, Derek Brown. And you could have pretty much said that on every Saturday night of the racing season now as problems over in turn number 4.
Start on the outside row, then dive to the inside as the green flag back out again. Flood getting that inside preferred line for him inside Tobiat. He will work around him. Will he be able to stay in front of him? No. Here comes Tim Brown, making it 3 wide up front. Tim Brown gets a little bit of a nudge from James Flood, takes over third. Now he'll go to work on the 27 of Tobiat as he has his nose right inside that left door panel of Tobiat.
Now the Brown family looking for another 1-2 finish possibly if the 111 can get around your 2-time track champion, but that is no small feat when you try to beat Tobiat here at the Lucas Oil Speedway. 27 fires off of turn number 2. We'll try to keep the 111 of Tim Brown behind him. All the while, Derek Brown starting to check out with so much side-by-side racing behind him. Derek now out to a better than a 2-second advantage on the rest of the field.
Johnny Coates giving it a good run as he's up to 4th and side-by-side for 5th with Flood on the outside of Brian Brownboy. Flood just went backwards, had it stuck in reverse for a couple of laps where he was running up front. Now he is no longer a factor as Tim Brown has gotten around him. Johnny Coates has gotten around him. Now Brian Brown looking inside of Flood. Derek Brown last time around 2.7 second lead. This time the lead will grow to over 3 seconds.
Great battle for third between Joplin, Missouri's Johnny Coates and the 111 of Tim Brown. As they continue to go side by side down the back straight. Coates with his nose in front of the 111. And Johnny Coates with a good run off of 4 takes over sole possession of that third spot.
Strung out single file now as Derek Brown completes lap number 11. Where we've seen the earlier few features, the bottom line was working and the top. Very rarely see street stocks really get high on the track. Every once in a while somebody will venture up there. Right now it's James Flood's the only one that's doing so. These street stocks, for the most part, staying way down on the bottom side of the track. Derek Brown clicking off lap after lap of nearly identical lap times, hitting his marks and continuing to build that lead. It's over 4 seconds now over Tobiat. Now Johnny Coates is up in the mix. He's looking for one of his best finishes of the season as the caution will come out at Big Show Bob Barnett. Of races of the year, Johnny Coates gets back in behind the wheel. Same thing to be said for James Flood. He missed 4 of the opening few races. Seems as though he's got that 42 hooked up, and now that Tim Brown is back up in the mix. Johnny Coates will go back to work on Tobiat. Now Tim Brown on the inside. He's going to try to make it a 3-car battle for second. Possibly looking at even splitting between the 35 and the 27. He peaked in there real quick, but that opening closed up. Has to lift up off the accelerator, and James Flood gets back down on the hammer. Working that high line, trying to find a way to get around 27 and the 111, but Ott will slam the door up on the top side and hold on to third.
Tim Brown continues to tricycle that 111 around the racetrack. You see him especially through 3 and 4 just carry that driver's side front tire up in the air as he tries to get around Tobiat. Tobiat having none of it though, as he keeps the 27 Ott solidly in third. And Shane, you mentioned we don't see street stocks run that high line very often, but that is exactly what James Flood has been doing the last 5 or 6 laps, and now trouble back behind the field is
back underway. We'll see if Johnny Coates can do anything with the 11. Look to the inside. First time anyone's challenged Derek Brown up front. And Derek Long, that was the first time he was not either first or second here at Lucas Oil Speedway. Cincinnati has another finish outside the top two. Johnny Coates to the inside with 4 to go. And shootout here. 4-lap shootout. Great restart for Derek Brown this time as he gets out to a car length advantage. Now can Johnny Coates do what he did a lap ago? He will get right up behind the 11. Brown goes lower on the track to thwart off the run that Johnny Coates is putting on, but Coates will do it again off of turn 4. Brown by a nose. Low line working for the 35. Another run by Coates. Gets up into the 11 just a little bit, but not much. When he does that, he will lose all bit of momentum. Derek Brown just continues to stay as steady as it gets.
And Shane, you've got to find your time to take your shot. That was Johnny Coates taking his shot there. May not have another chance to be that close to Brown here as the white flag goes up.
About a 2-car length advantage for Derek Brown over Johnny Coates. Another 4-car lengths back to Toby Ott, and another 4 back to 4th place running Tim Brown. One last ditch effort for Johnny Coates. Derek Brown will pull off of turn 4. The drag race to the checkers. We'll see Derek Brown pick up his 6th win of the season, but